The banks usually ask, can this particular borrower repay? And they never know. They do checks, credit check scoring, etc. We don't do that. We don't need to do it. You are able to get your loan instantly, which with the banks, you usually don't. And all of these things needs to happen so that you can get your loan. You don't even need to know about these. Traditional finance or traditional banks do have a little problem with our protocol level collateral. They don't understand it and they don't trust it. And we are able to onboard institutional lenders. We were unable to attract large amounts of institutional capital. That's different. Ladies and gentlemen, very good afternoon. My name is Tomas Dzurilla and I'm responsible for business development at Firefish. What I want to do today is I'll ask you a couple of questions just to understand who you are, whether you know Firefish, etc., 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 so that I can better spend time on certain things and less time on things that I think will be useless for you. So let me ask, who knows what Firefish does? Show of hands. Great. Who is Firefish customer? Who's done at least one transaction with us? Okay, probably 30%. Very well. And who is actively thinking, but they have one particular problem to do a transaction with us? Is there anybody? Okay, nobody. Good. Let's start. I will try to go through presentation as quickly as possible. And I will leave approximately 5 minutes for Q&A at the end of the session. So please prepare your questions. I'll be happy to answer them. Also, during the talk, in the end, we will have 2 interesting announcements about things that we are going to do in near future. So stay tuned. Every single service which is really popular and well received by the customers is usually simple. At least it looks on the surface. You click, something happens, and you don't bother. But underneath, there is a staggering complexity of processes which the service which provides you the service actually needs to eat. They need to do many things so that things happen. For example, Apple Pay and Google Pay. You tap your phone and payment is done. But underneath, you see card tokenization. You see, and I don't even know these things, I have to look back, yeah? So it's card tokenization, global card networks, contracting, fraud scoring, settlement across banks, etc., etc., etc. So a million things happen, but you only see the one on the surface. Same with Uber, or I placed Liftago there, which is a local Czech version of Uber. So again, you click the button, taxi arrives and takes you home. But underneath, you need to have agreements with drivers, etc. You need to have location services. You need to run payments, and such, like a million things that you need to run. But on the surface, it looks easy. Same with Amazon or the local Czech equivalent Alza. You go to the website, you click, and it arrives at your footsteps, at your doorsteps. Easy. But again, underneath, there's live inventory. There is location services. There is logistics. And the same thing works in Bitcoin-backed loans. So for Bitcoin-backed loan to happen, we have these 5 areas that we need to cover so that the loan actually happens. We need to do onboarding. Many of you don't like it, but we have to do it. We have pricing, which is the how we call it, bids and offers that we run in the marketplace. We have execution. with all of the supporting legal documents, and we have escrow, and we have payments. And all of these things need to happen so that you can get your loan. And you don't even need to know about these. And primarily, we try to make these things simple. And the first implication that we have done is the one where we change the lending paradigm. In traditional finance, the banks usually ask, can this particular borrower repay? And they never know. Yes, they run models, they do credit check scoring, etc., but they never know whether this particular guy repays. We don't do that. We don't need to do it, which simplifies things very, very much. You are able to get your loan instantly, which with the banks, you usually don't. And now I'm going to show you how our platform looked a couple of years ago. This is it. This contains all of the 5 components which I was talking about. And this is not really what most people would use. We tried to hide this complexity with the version 2, which most of you don't remember. And what you currently have is the version 3. That's what you see. That's what you probably know from your experience. And this brings us to how we think about our clients. Our clients, customers, I believe you don't think in these processes. You don't care about those. But what you care about is this. Anybody who ever studied at least one lesson of psychology must remember Maslow pyramid of needs. This is similar, but I try to adapt it for lending. So I believe, or we at Firefish, we believe the first and foremost thing which you guys are concerned is security and safety and fairness. And this is on the bottom. This is the command line up. And we've built it many, many years ago. We've built it 3 years ago already. And today, what we try to do today, we try to make sure that you have the predictability, that you have simplicity, and that you have peace of mind. So the things which sit on the top of the pyramid. And I have some data to support whether we are doing things right or not. And what I've done, I've looked at all 145 reviews that we have on Trustpilot. All of these 145 reviews, 8 reviews is non-5-star, so 4 or less. And all of these are not concerned with fairness or safety. In fact, even the good ones, they don't usually mention fairness or safety. When they suggest something, they talk about peace of mind, simplicity, predictability. But what this data is telling me, and it's not about stars, we've read all of the comments, and based on all of the comments, have you written them, there are no concerns about safety and fairness, but you have suggestions, you have concerns, you have proposals to make your life easier, more predictable, simple, so that you can have peace of mind. And this is what we care, and how we do that, and what we are going to do so that we accommodate this need, or at least we think it is your need, and you tell me if it is not. So out of these things, there's the 5 things. We believe that we've done certain things wrong, and certain things right, and certain things we don't really have nailed yet. And these are the execution and payments. And this is when I come to the announcement that we have to make. The first one is we will be launching embedded accounts on the platform on 13th of July, subject to some regulatory scrutiny, so hopefully it is 13th of July. And what it does is that we will bring you real IBAN to the platform, so every user will have their own IBAN. This will be Czech koruna and euro for the start. Other currencies will follow. And we don't hold your money. The money will be held at a regular EMI, We've partnered with Paymont, and they are providing the accounts. So it's not Firefish who holds your money. So the motto that we have, we don't hold your Bitcoin and we don't hold your money, still holds. The accounts, they will live in Firefish app, as we say, which means that we are providing you the interface in the Firefish app to see the account. And it will be both for lenders and borrowers, which will... This is how it looks. And this will help you to make the loans instant. Today, you may need to wait for 7 days. In the future, the transactions will work instantly. The wallet, it will sit in the menu. You have currency selector on the top. You have action buttons. When you receive your loan, you can withdraw money to your regular bank account. When you want to repay, you will deposit onto the account. You can have linked bank accounts, and that's it. We hope it will be simple and people would like to use. The second thing, which we haven't nailed yet, is we're not able to manage to bring institutional liquidity to the platform, to make loans for you cheaper and even cheaper in larger volumes, etc. So what we've done, we have partnered with AMINA to improve institutional liquidity on the platform. So far, we've signed a memorandum of understanding. AMINA EU is a wholly owned subsidiary of AMINA Bank, Swiss-regulated banking institution. They are set to provide regulated institutional custody and off-ramping for our institutional clients. And they will also provide traditional risk management. And that's the reason why we were unable to attract institutional liquidity, because we are a little bit different from traditional finance banks. And this is what they are going to provide to liquidity providers so that we can have loans cheaper for you. What we will do, we will handle the lending infrastructure, and we will be in charge of customer relationships. So we will be actually talking to you guys. What it brings is you'll have familiar lending product. This will be fully over-collateralized, Bitcoin-backed loans, and you will not have direct counterparty exposure, which means that on the lending side, you will not have direct, or the financial institutions will not have direct counterparty exposure. This will provide existing risk frameworks, non-protocol level custody and escrow, which is a little bit different what we do, but we're leaving this to AMINA. This will AMINA will do. We will have guaranteed return, and there will be balance sheets to support these guarantees. If there are any questions regarding AMINA, there is Peter Scholz from AMINA sitting in the crowd. Peter, raise your hand. So if you guys have questions, you can come to me, or you can come to Peter, and we're happy to answer. Now, I have 5 minutes, 27 seconds left, so I'm 27 seconds faster than I want it to be. But the floor is yours. I'm open to questions. Yeah, there's a question there. I think somebody needs to give you a microphone because I will not hear.
Hello. Thank you. Thank you for the presentation. That was really interesting, and congratulations on the MOU with AMINA. I hope that works out and everything goes smoothly on July 13th, right?
Thanks.
So you said that right now you're not able to onboard institutional lenders?
No, I didn't say so. We are able to onboard institutional lenders, but we were unable to attract large amounts of institutional capital. That's different, yeah? We are able to onboard institutional lenders. The reason why we were unable to onboard large institutional lenders with a lot of capital to lend is because traditional, and I'm talking about traditional TradFi capital. Traditional finance or traditional banks do have a little problem with our protocol level collateral. They don't understand it and they don't trust it, and that's the reason.
And you mentioned in your presentation, and again, please correct me if I'm wrong, that you would do some kind of I don't want to say like credit check, but something like this for people who would want to basically borrow from that institutional liquidity from AMINA. Do I understand correctly?
No. We will. Did I say so? No. I'm sure I didn't. No. The client relationship will stay the same.
Okay.
So we will handle the client relationship, and whoever will be the institutional lender on the other side will have exposure to a special purpose vehicle that we will set up for this purpose. So large institutional lenders will not have direct exposure to individual borrowers, or even institutional borrowers for that matter, because these will be clients of ours. And we will have a special purpose vehicle, which will be the lender of record.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the clarification.
Here we go. There is a gentleman in a, is it yellow t-shirt? I can't really see colors. Gray?
Thank you. Hello, thank you. I'm Peter. I come from...
Hi, Peter.
We were wondering, what is the biggest security risk you see with Firefish and your platform?
Security risk, I would break it to two things. Or I will break the risk general into two things. Credit risk and operational risk. These are like, if we cover all of the risks into these two categories, we strictly need to distinguish between the two. As a lender, you have virtually zero or actually zero credit risk on our platform, because you on the other hand have collateralized value, and we are able to liquidate that value in an instant. So you don't have credit risk. What you still have is an operational risk. I hope it never happens, but I can't say that there is no operational risk. I mean, that would be a blasphemy to say. Yes, there is operational risk as with any business. So you are exposed to operational risk of what we do. I would say that's your security risk if that answers the question. But maybe, do you want to be more specific or?
Yeah, I'm thinking now with Mythos coming out and the bigger LLMs.
Sorry, with Mythos or?
Mythos from Anthropic.
Okay.
In terms of hacks, etc.
So you are interested in how, like, are you asking about wallet addresses being hacked, or generally the infrastructure being hacked?
Yes, the infrastructure, and how will that affect users?
Look, we hope we will not have our infrastructure hacked. What we do is we have intentionally built our infrastructure from building blocks which have been there for 10 years. Multisig and PSBT has been working for a long time. So these are proven things, and these are the building blocks of our Firefish protocol. Firefish protocol is open source. It's or open code or whatever it's called. You can review the code and you can make sure for yourself that the code that you are running on our platform is actually what we are telling you that you are running. Do your checks, and if I shall answer your question in the best possible way, I would say do your research, read our code, and be sure for yourself that what you do, meaning running Firefish code, doesn't raise your risk, your operational risk. And this is it. That's the answer. That's the best answer I can give you. Do your research. We give you the code. You can read it.
Thank you.
We have 0 seconds left. I'm sorry. I would be happy to answer more questions. Gents, ladies and gentlemen, stand by in our booth. We have a booth over there. Happy to answer the questions if you have. Thank you very much.